Democrats are facing a potential disaster in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today we have to talk about the 2024 presidential election because it appears that Kamala Harris is in deep trouble in the key swing state of Pennsylvania. And I know, that sounds crazy, like, wait, what? According to some people, Kamala Harris is up by 15 points, she's gonna win in a landslide. What do you mean that they're worried about Pennsylvania? Well, according to NBC News, yes, NBC News, not Fox News, not Newsmax, not some far-right outlet. No. This is coming from someone that covers the Harris campaign for NBC News. And she said the polling is so bad in Pennsylvania that not even Josh Shapiro could deliver the state. Look at this. Meanwhile, Josh Shapiro was seen as not someone who could deliver the state of Pennsylvania based on internal polling. Yeah. In other words, we're doing so bad in Pennsylvania, we can't even pick Josh Shapiro to save us. He would help us maybe a point, but it's not enough. Now, you might be saying, well, it's just one source. Maybe she's wrong. Like, maybe this is just misinformation, whatever. Well, let's look at the public polling. Look at this. On the RCP average right now, Trump is up by 2 points. Yeah, Trump plus 2. Despite Trump, quote-unquote, collapsing everywhere else, he's still up by 2 points in Pennsylvania. And that's with a Democrat pollster and PPP. That's with Bloomberg having their garbage polls, which, by the way, they had a Trump plus 4. They had a Trump plus 4, the same poll that had it Biden plus or Harris plus 11 in Michigan. They still found Trump with a sizable lead in Pennsylvania. So while the national and even statewide polling in some states has gotten worse for Trump, it seems like in Pennsylvania, it stayed about the same. He's up by around 2 to 3 points. That's the public polling. This is not some grand conspiracy. That's coming from public polls. But not only that, a couple days ago, we heard from not just people at the Trump campaign, but from the Harris campaign, their own polling. And apparently, the internals have Trump up by around 2 to 5 points in Pennsylvania, as of now. Yeah, that's what both campaigns are seeing as of now. Again, I'm not saying that's not gonna change, it could, but as of now, the public polling is showing a Trump plus 2 lead. The private polling, basically the same thing, actually a bit more friendly to Trump. That's not good. That is not good for Harris one bit. Because if even Josh Shapiro couldn't save her, she's in deep trouble. Again, picking someone as a VP, it doesn't automatically mean you win a state. But it still would give you some kind of a boost, a small one, maybe a 1-point bump, maybe. But if Josh Shapiro, a very well-liked guy in Pennsylvania, is not enough to save them, well, you're in deep trouble. Because if you're losing Pennsylvania already, your pathway to the presidency is already all but gone. And remember, Pennsylvania polling back in 2020, back in 2016, at this exact same time, it was Biden plus 5, Clinton plus 7, plus 8. It was huge Democrat leads. But now, it's still a Trump lead. And not only that, Trump's at 48%. Except for one poll, he's at 48, 49, and 50% of the vote. Yeah. So he's already about to crack 50%. The more you look at this, the more you realize, wait, this source from NBC News, which it's very strange it came from NBC News. Like, what? Why would they report this? But the fact that they're finally admitting, oh yeah, by the way, we're not looking good at Pennsylvania. It reinforces what we heard a couple days ago. It reinforces the public polling. Now, I want to go over why this is a big deal that Harris is potentially in deep trouble in Pennsylvania. So, let's just say, okay, Minnesota, Virginia, Harris wins those states, New Hampshire, Maine, whatever. Okay, let's say Trump carries Pennsylvania. At this point in time, he just needs Georgia, and he's the next president. That's it. This is why it's a big deal to win Pennsylvania. If you win it, you're basically guaranteed the presidency. Now, it's not a, I shouldn't say it's a guarantee. It's basically like a 95% chance you win. Because it's 19 electoral votes, and the way the map's put together, yeah, if you win Pennsylvania, you're in a really good situation. Especially if you're Trump. If you're Harris, well, you still need a bit more work. But it becomes a lot easier. If you lose it, well, you can't afford to lose any more states. You just can't. And on top of that, the same Eternals, they have Trump up by Wisconsin by a decent amount. Again, I'm not saying that's a guarantee. I'm just saying that's what the private polling is showing. It's like Trump +2 in Wisconsin, Trump +3 in Pennsylvania, which I'm not saying is a guarantee. I'm not saying it's going to for sure happen. But let's just say he's up in these two swing states. Now it's really, if Trump carries one state, just one, even Nevada, he would be at 270. Harris could win every other state, which this map's not going to happen, but in this scenario, Trump is victorious. That's why it's such a big deal if Pennsylvania goes towards Trump. And that's why I think the Harris campaign, they're kind of freaking out. Because if Josh Shapiro wasn't enough to save them, how are you going to win? How are you supposed to win Pennsylvania if not even Josh Shapiro would be enough to win the presidency? How? And they're going to claim, well, actually, the VP selection doesn't change that much. Wait, what? That's what they're claiming, but just a week ago, they were saying, when we pick our VP, we're going to see a 10-point surge. But now they're saying, actually, the VP selection doesn't matter that much, which it really doesn't. But if you're down by that much where you don't even think you can win Pennsylvania, even with Josh Shapiro, that's not a good look whatsoever. And that's the problem here. The pathway to the presidency for Harris is all but gone. Because now she can afford to lose maybe one more state, like Wisconsin or a Nevada. But after that, she cannot lose a single state. Now, does this mean Trump's going to win Pennsylvania by 10 points? No. But if he's up by 2 to 3 points as of now, which, by the way, this should be Harris's best polling right now, especially in August. This should be when her polling's at its absolute peak. When you combine the response bias, when you combine the fact that, for whatever reason, August always has a polling surge for Democrats, when in reality, it's not really a surge. It's just, oh, the polling's weird. I don't know why that's the case. I'm really curious why, polling is always so good for Democrats in August. That's always the case. Go back to 2016, 2020, 2004. Democrats had their best polling, on average, in August. Now, there are some circumstances where, it's better later on the cycle or earlier, but most of the time, August is the best polling for Democrats. Virtually every single cycle, not just for the presidency, but for House races, for the Senate, for governorships. It's always August. So if she's already down by 2 to 3 points, and this is when she should be pulling her best, you're screwed. You're not winning Pennsylvania as of now, and your pathway to winning is all but gone. And if Trump is really winning Pennsylvania, do you really think he's losing Wisconsin? I doubt it. So really, at this point, Harris cannot lose any more states. And I think both campaigns realize that. Why do you think both campaigns, they're kind of ignoring Wisconsin, Nevada, but they're throwing everything at Pennsylvania, Georgia, kind of Arizona, but they're targeting Pennsylvania, Georgia the most, because if you win just one of these two states, if you're Trump, your pathway to winning the presidency is all but secured. And if you win both of them, you won. You cannot lose in that scenario. That's why it's a big frickin' deal that, oh yeah, we're not looking good at Pennsylvania based on the Eternals. And not only that, just public polling is bad. I mean, you're down by 2 points and it's August. That's not a good look. Now, again, things could theoretically change where, oh, there's a polling surge for Harris. I get that. But as of now, it does not sound like they're too confident about Pennsylvania. And if they're not confident about Pennsylvania, how do you expect to win? Because if Trump's winning Pennsylvania, Do you think he's losing Wisconsin? Or even Michigan at that point? I doubt it. I really doubt that he's losing Wisconsin. I mean, if he's winning Pennsylvania. It's just not going to happen. When was the last time Pennsylvania and Wisconsin voted for different candidates? It was like 1988. For like 40 plus years, they have voted virtually identical to each other. If Wisconsin votes Republican, so does Pennsylvania. And of course, Michigan. But you get the point that it hasn't happened in like 50 years where one candidate wins Wisconsin, the other wins Pennsylvania. That doesn't happen. We just got to see what happens, but the Harris campaign, they're in a lot more trouble than some people think if they're down in Pennsylvania by 2 to 3 points. Because how are you supposed to come back from that? Especially if Trump's already at 49%. That means with undecideds allocated, Trump's probably above 50% of the vote. I really don't know what the Harris campaign does if they lose Pennsylvania. Do you throw everything at Georgia? But even then, it's not enough. You have to win Arizona, Nevada, and then Michigan. Just to barely win the presidency. And even if you get 269, that's not enough. This is not enough for Harris because the House is going to vote for Trump in that scenario. That's the problem for Harris. If she just gives up on Pennsylvania, which I don't think she will, but if she's losing Pennsylvania by 2 to 3 points as of now, and even Josh Shapiro wouldn't have saved them, does anyone really expect her to win? I don't know. I guess it's possible that maybe she wins every other state except Pennsylvania, but I don't see that occurring. That just seems so unlikely that it's just not going to happen. But I guess it's possible. This is 2024. Crazier things have happened, but Pennsylvania is a critical state. And I think both campaigns realize that. That's why they're both spending $300 million. It will be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. If Trump is still up by like 3 to 4 points in Pennsylvania, yeah, he's probably the clear favorite at that point. I just don't see how you lose Pennsylvania or win Pennsylvania, but somehow lose the presidency. At that point, you're winning Wisconsin, probably winning Georgia, probably winning Arizona. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.